Welcome to the Digital Marketing Insights podcast, brought to you by Brightside Digital.
Hi everyone, welcome to the show. I'm delighted to say we have Clodagh here today, who's a social media manager and content creator. How are you doing, Clodagh?
I'm good, thank you. How are you keeping?
Yeah, very good, thank you. Clodagh, can we start off by you telling everyone a little bit about yourself and your career to date, please?
Yeah, so I suppose after school I didn't know what I wanted to do and decided to go traveling. And I just started sharing pictures, and at the time videos weren't really as popular, but I was doing a few chatty stories on Instagram, and I built up a small following. It's still relatively small, sitting around 6,000. And yeah, then just from that kept sharing travels, and obviously COVID happened, so wasn't really traveling or sharing anything. So I fell into the fashion lifestyle kind of content creating. And then with that, I landed my first social media manager job at Tappy Tag. They're a company based now in Athlone that specialise in digital business cards. And then, yeah, just from there, kept creating on my own personal page. And now I've decided to set up my own freelance company, which is Creative Forte. So it's very new and very much at the start, but I'm busy, almost fully booked. So very happy about that, obviously. And yeah, that's a very brief summary of me, I suppose.
Love it. And obviously, social is your main area. Can you tell us a little bit about the platforms you use, some insights into how you operate your days?
Yeah, so I'm mostly focused on Instagram still. I do love TikTok, and uh, I'm just actually recently back from a trip in India, and have a lot of content to post on TikTok from that. I think it is the future. It's, I wouldn't say easier to grow. You still have to obviously put in hard work with everything that you do, but it's an interesting platform, and I do think it's important that we all adapt to the change and use it. So yeah, those would be my two main ones, I suppose. I personally just love the still photos on Instagram. They are my favorite, but of course now we have to spend some time and focus on video content, which again is the way things are moving. So we just have to keep moving with it, I suppose.
Definitely. And is there any campaign work or work you've done that you're really proud of or you made really successful?
Um, I would say in terms of working at Tappy Tag, I created a series called User Guides, which, I mean, it's very self-explanatory. It was just a series of videos on YouTube which explained for how to use the product step by step. Um, it was basically, we kept getting a lot of the same questions in Instagram DMs and on TikTok comments. And people were struggling with the same things really. So I decided to make a video series explaining step by step what to do, and it really, really helped. So many people have messaged to say that they've watched the videos, like they're only short, like 1 minute, and that it's helped their company expand everything. So yeah, that's something I'm quite proud of.
And tell me a little bit more about that, those videos themselves. Was it like unboxing or how to use the product? How did you get to the product? How did you work that side of things?
It was a mixture of both. So I instead, like, I could have made a 15-minute video exactly what to do step by step, but unfortunately our attention spans now are very short, and I don't think many people would watch a 15-minute video of how to do something when they're yet to buy it. So I broke it down into tiny little segments. So from it arriving in the post to taking it out of the package, what's the first step is to do. And then after, I made follow-up videos, so how to change their profile, what they could add to their profile, just a little bits to help people, and they could obviously pick which video was relevant to them to watch, so they didn't need to watch every single one if they didn't want to, I suppose.
And just a little bit more of a touch on that. How do you stay up to date with trends? How do you enhance your role and keep up to date with the emerging content in spaces?
Um, Scrolling, I think, is so important. You can capture trends yourself just from obviously your own feed. I do use websites as well, like Later. HubSpot is great. Um, Also, just I kind of get inspiration from around me as well. I've always been really creative since I was young. I danced a lot, so sometimes I can just walk in the street and see something that I might think will work well and be cool.
And in terms of your softwares, that you've kind of touched on it a little bit earlier, but what do you use to do the edits? How do you create this content?
Mostly, I mean, for the videos, I use CapCut. I just think it's so easy. I do have some experience with Adobe, but I just like the handiness of CapCut because I do everything on my phone. So yeah, it's just as easy. And then love Canva and Adobe Illustrator for more illustration side of things.
Love it. And like in terms of your own content, let's talk about you for a second.
Mhm.
You're obviously doing a lot of travel content that's seen out there and stuff. How do you get ideas for producing certain types of content when you're going to certain places?
Great question. I think, to be honest, it probably just comes naturally. As I say, when I went on my first trip, I just took pictures just because I wanted them for my own memory. And then, I mean, now if I look back at that content, it's not what I would post today. But yeah, I just take ideas from around me. If I, for example, when we went to Sri Lanka, we went to the Nine Arch Bridge. It's quite a famous thing to do when you're in Sri Lanka. And I noticed many people were taking their pictures just on the bridge or just the video on the bridge. But we just decided to go a little bit off the beaten track, a little bit left, and we just had a better view. I suppose, yeah, I'm always looking for a way to do things just that tiny little bit different. I think that's important with content creation. Nobody wants to see the same thing over and over and over again.
A great point. So it's about identifying a different angle to where everyone else is seeing that content from before and taking it from a different area.
Yeah, I would say with travel that's important. And now I think giving value is very important as well. Obviously I can just share the picture of the bridge and people will like it and that's it. Or I can share how to get there, my tips, if I recommend it, things like that. Now people, yeah, they just want to learn, not just enjoy content. I think anyways.
That's a really good point. And is there any people you follow or anyone that you take insights or information from or websites that you go to?
I love blogs. I recently started my own travel blog, mostly as a hobby, because when I'm researching for a trip, I will always look at blogs. I think they just say the information so well and it's easy to scan for what you're looking for. You don't necessarily need to read the whole blog. I also always look at YouTube videos. And I suppose my two favorite creators, one is Charlene Johnson. She is English, goes by Travel Affair. Um, Really good TikToker mostly. And Steph My Life, she is a Irish travel blogger as well. I think she's mostly on Instagram, a little bit on TikTok too. But yeah, again, just the way she shares the information is short and sweet, and that's what I like.
Brilliant. And is there any areas you're upskilling yourself in at the moment and why?
Yeah, so I am focusing a little bit on web development, mostly for myself for promoting Creative Forte, which is my social media managing company, and for my travel blog as well. Just something I'm interested in, and I'm the type of person that loves learning. I get bored very easily. My friends would definitely laugh if they heard me say that. So yeah, I think it's important to always learn. Another area that I am looking into obviously is the rise of AI. I think it's going to be game changing for anyone in the digital space. So I think it's important to learn about it and keep up with the way times are changing.
Yeah, and that would be my next question: is the digital industry as a whole, is there anything that you're excited about or looking to in the future? Is there any things you've read out there that our listeners should be aware of?
Um, yeah, I'm just going to go back to AI again. I think obviously it's very new and people have very mixed opinions. That, I mean, I've heard people say don't use it, it's not good, it's taking jobs away from people. But I think you can use it to make your job better, and it's already out there, it's not going anywhere, so you can adapt with it or you can stay behind. So yeah.
And lastly, Claudia, we always ask this question to wrap up the show, which is, if you could bottle up one personality trait that you have that you believe you could pass on to others, what would it be?
Such a good question. Ooh, maybe my ability to just go out of my comfort zone. I have realized probably only recently in the last month or two that I'm not afraid to try new things and fail. I feel a lot of my, not a lot of my friends, but a few of my friends, they would love to do something, but the fear of failing holds them back. Which I think you learn so much from failing. I mean, do we really fail at anything? Who knows? I think there's a lesson in all of it. So yeah, I would say my ability to just go for things and not really worry if it works out or not. In the end, it will all make sense.
Yeah, well said. And that's it, Claudia. If anyone wants to reach out to you, touch base with you, what's the best ways for them to find you?
The best way is probably my main Instagram, which is Forte the Way. Also LinkedIn, just Clodagh Forte. Yeah, those would be the main two at the moment.
But Claudia, thanks so much for doing this. Thanks for coming on the show, and thank you everyone for listening.
Thank you so much for having me.